With supplies on the low, food being short, and water being very scarce, the 4 tribes of Akalon are now battling out to see who will be the sole survivor. So now we will determine the fate of Akalon. Fate of Akalon Tribes is a card game, so of course in it you're going to get some decks of cards. There are of course the 4 factions that are able to battle. We have orcs, we have elves, we have dwarves, and then we also have some undead. I'm going to go ahead and show you mostly the elves and the orcs, since the artwork for the version that I have isn't quite done for these, so they're kind of boring to look at least on camera. So, showing you the elf deck here. Just want to really focus on this awesome artwork that is on these. So, as you can see, each card has, the title of the card, some really beautiful artwork, and it has an attack value. And most of the cards also have some kind of an ability that happens when you play it. So, just showing you some of this beautiful artwork that is in this game. And then the same thing will be with the orcs. I mean, this artwork is just gorgeous. That's what really pulled me into this game. This beautifully bright and vibrant artwork. So it looks absolutely fantastic. So anyways, what you're going to do is you're going to choose a faction here. I'm going to show you a 2-player game. So when you choose your faction, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose the elves. And the first thing you do is you're going to give your deck a good shuffle. Once you do that, you're going to go into the skirmish phase of the game. So for the skirmish phase of the game, you're going to take your top card and you're going to place it face down into the battle area. So I'm going to show you what we drew here. We drew this archer. In the skirmish phase, you completely ignore the text down here, so you don't have to worry about what that is. But this up here will tell you what the battle is. So I had a battle of 2. Now my opponent, who is playing the orcs, they're going to flip over a card into their battle area, and they drew a kobold, which has a value of 0. This is just to determine who goes first. So whoever loses the battle, they're going to go ahead and they're going to take their card, and that's going to go into their cemetery. So let's just say their cemetery is right over there. So they're going to put their card in their cemetery, and whoever won the battle, their card goes into their discard pile. The losing player is now the attacking player for the first round, and the winning player is the defending player. Once you've determined who the first player is, everybody's going to draw 5 cards from their deck. So since the orc player is the first player, I'm going to go ahead and show you what they have in their hand here. So here they have a kobold, they have a spear, club, a chieftain, and a goblin. So what they're going to do is they're going to choose a card to play first, and they're going to play it to the battlefield on their side. So let's see what we want to play. So when you determine what you want to play first, let's go ahead and let's play the spear guy first. So his ability is, you may play another card. So he's going to go out into the battlefield, and then you do what his ability is, which is another card to be played. So I think I'm going to go ahead and play this club, which gives me an attack plus 2. So the club is now going to go out. Then it goes to my opponent. Now they're going to play 1 card from their hand and follow the text, and they're going to try to defend themselves. So let's look. They have a 3, 5, 6, 7. Seeing what they have in their hand here, they have a swordsman who has an attack of 5, which would help us a little bit. So here we have a seer, we have an archer, another seer, and a sylvan attendant. Let's go ahead and play this archer here because it will allow us to play another card. So I'm going to go ahead and play down my archer right there, and immediately you get to play another card because that's what the archer gets to do. So we're going to go ahead and play the swordsman here, who is a value 5, and you may discard a card of value 3 or higher from your hand to draw a card. So let's go ahead and play him first of all, because we do want that battle value there. And see here, we have the Sylvan Attendant. If defeated, you may discard your hand. I kind of like having these seers in my hand. So do you know what? I'm going to go ahead and use the Swordsman ability to go ahead and discard the Sylvan Attendant. So I'm going to discard that, and that will allow me to draw a card. And I drew another Archer. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to resolve this battle. So let's get over here and look at the cards here. So we look at the total value, and as I said, for the orcs, we have 3, 5, 6, and 7. And then we come over here to the elves, and they have 5, well, 6, 7. Well, we have a tie here. So in case of a tie, what would happen is both sides lose, unfortunately. So cards that are in a losing battle all go to the graveyard. So you go ahead and pick up your cards here, and you place them into the graveyard. And they do suggest stacking them in stacks of 5 or 10 for easy counting. And here at Cloak and Meeple, we really like easy math. And then you determine who the next player is. Since both battles ended up losing, the attack would stay with the other player. And then once you determine who the next player would be, you go ahead and check to see if the game actually already ends. The way you determine it is you look in each graveyard, and you see if there's a total of 30 points of attack, or 30 battle value, or whatever you want to call it. You check to see if that is in either graveyard. Of course, it's not in either graveyard yet, so the game would continue. So let's go ahead and play another hand of it, and we will see what we can do. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to reinforce your hand. If you have 0 cards in your hand, you're going to go ahead and draw 5 more. If you have cards in your hand, unfortunately you don't get to draw any more cards. So you do play at a disadvantage now because the battle is going on, and both players now only have 3 cards. So let's see how this battle is going to unfold. So as the orc player, they're going to go ahead and they're going to battle it out, and they're going to use this chieftain here, who is a level 5. After all cards have been played, you may play a card from your discard pile. After the battle, put that card into your cemetery. Well, unfortunately, the orc player has no cards in his discard pile, so he wouldn't really be able to do that action, but still, it's a 5 battle value, so that's a pretty good card to play. So they're going to play that to the area. And as the poor elf player here, I'm looking at my cards, and I can't get to a 5 with my cards here. I do have this archer that allows me to play another card, which would then allow me to play a seer, so I could put a card on top of my deck and see if it's something I want. I think I might go ahead and do that, and know I'm going to lose my last battle, but we're going to go ahead and try to predict the future and see what's going on in my deck at least. So first I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this archer. And with this archer being played, you may play another card. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this seer, which allows me to look at the top card of my deck. I can replace it by just putting it back on top of my deck, or I can discard it. So let's look at what we have going on here. Oh, a swordsman. That would have been really helpful to have in my hand right now, but unfortunately it is not in my hand right now. But I want this card, so I'm going to go ahead and place that right back on top of my deck, so I know I'll be drawing it soon. So then we're going to go ahead and we're going to compare the values here. The orc player has a total of 5 right there, if my camera will focus, yes. And then the elves here only have a power of 3. So unfortunately the elves are losing this battle. So when you lose a battle, of course, all of your cards go into the cemetery. But if you do win the battle, your card then gets discarded into your discard area. You determine who the next attacker is. Since the orcs won, they're going to be the next attacker. And then you will check for endgame. Of course, we still don't have 30 points into either cemetery. And neither player needs to reinforce because, well, the elf player has 1 card and the orc player has 2 cards. That's just a few hands of the game so you get the gist of it. And again, you go until one cemetery has 30 points and that ends the game. Then whoever has the least amount of points in the graveyard is determined the winner of the game. There is also a 3-player and 4-player variant for the game. With 3 players, 1 player is the attacker and 2 players are on defense. And 4 players, you play on teams, so it's 2 on 2. Each faction does have their own way of playing and their own flavor, whereas the elves are all about deck manipulation, the orcs are all about offensive power. They're all about building up that attack and having huge attack values. The decks I didn't show you, the dwarves are all about hunkering down and they're all about defense. And the undead, well, obviously, they're all about manipulating the graveyard. So this game is going to be on Kickstarter very soon. I'll have a link down below for it so you can definitely check it out. The artwork for this game is beautiful. As I said, that's what really brought me into this game. I've seen some preview art of the dwarves and the undead, and it is gorgeous. If you can say undead creatures are gorgeous. But the artwork is beautifully done. So definitely check out this game on Kickstarter. I'm sure it's something that you might enjoy. And as always, thank you for watching. Please do not forget to share, like, subscribe, and support Cloak and Meeple. Thanks. The orcs are all about defense, no, offense. Orcs, 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 orcs. There's a blooper.